All right. One moment. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Woke Wellness Wednesdays. We are super excited as we are going to be covering what could be ADD and ADHD with the following. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Jaron Hall.
Hey,
Hello, Jedon.
what's going
Yes.
on, everybody? Happy Woke Wednesday.
Yes, okay. And then we have more people today. It's super exciting. It's like bouncy off the walls in here. Like, we're really gonna be like, I'm in my onesie. I mean, if you're not, what's the hell, you know?
That's very fitting for you, Dahlia. It puts a shock to my system.
I know, it does put a little shock to your system. Okay, and then we also have co-host Michael Ladyboy.
Woo!
He gets to be Ladyboy.
How is everyone? Lovely to be here, and I am so excited to be talking about our wokeness and our wellness of Wednesday. We have been through a lot this week, especially me and Dahlia. I know, Jaron, you have a lot to share, and as well as everyone else on board today. It's going to be so exciting. I just can't wait to open up the Pandora box tonight.
Would you like to introduce our guests?
Ooh, yes, but I can't see them.
Well, because you're getting ready to tell. Okay. No. Okay. No. Okay. We're gonna introduce. Go ahead.
Anyways,
Michael?
go ahead, Dahlia. Introduce our friends.
Okay. We got Alec Raebel as well as Ruby from Rockaholics coming in today. It's the five of us. Ooh.
What's up?
Like the Power Rangers, there's 5. The
I
original
know. Did you mention that
We need to do
Ruby?
like a power move. Attack.
Did you? But I got my power move. I got it.
Well, I mean, what's Michael's? I mean, he calls himself Ladyboy. Does he stroke his hair to get attention?
Wait, did we mention that it's Ruby and Alec, the co-hosts of Rockaholics, or we just say Ruby from Rockaholics?
That's a question for you, Dahlia.
Ruby, are you muted? Uh-oh. Ruby.
Oh, sorry about that.
Ruby. Oh.
Michael, okay. In the land of ADD, we need to. Oh, okay.
Wait, is my microphone working
Speaking
now?
of ADD,
Yes.
Michael's camera's a little ADD today.
Yes, it is.
Just on and off, on and off.
I would say that's hyperactive. Actually, I'd say that's hyperactive.
Okay. Now I have a question for everybody. Before we get into this, do you think you have ADD or ADHD?
I know for a fact I have ADD. I do not have hyperactive disorder, but I do have attention deficit.
Okay. And then so he thinks he's got ADHD with the little H. And Jaron, what about you?
That's a hard one because I don't want to ever assume that I have something, but then again, I've been manipulated enough. I'll probably say I probably have ADD.
Okay, so we got one for the ADD, one for the ADHD, and then Ruby, what do you think?
Oh no, both me and Alec have ADD, definitely.
Oh, 100%. That's the entire. That's what Rockaholics is basically. It's just.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're just like, I mean, we'll start on something and then we'll totally go into like 2 different stories, and then we're like, oh wait, hold on, wait,
Yep.
move her on something else. So let's go back to that.
Yeah, and and her and I have a separate podcast where we just let our ADD shine, that we run on our own.
Oh yeah, if I don't have like an outline, like I am everywhere. There's no, yeah.
So today we have an outline, so we're not going to try to get too lost, but we're definitely going to cover some things.
That's good.
So the first question that me and Alec wanted to start with was, how do you define ADHD?
Ooh.
Chaos. Both.
Well,
absolute chaos.
You define it as chaos?
Yeah, I would. You know what? I would define ADHD as a horrible privilege. Because the thing about ADHD is that you hyper focus on something, That's the privilege in it. But the reason it's horrible is because you get off task so easily. So easily. That's the horrible part about it. You just cannot stay. Like, your mind's here and you have one thought that goes astray from that, and then you're just here, and you have one thought that goes astray from that, and then you're here. Like, you literally just cannot focus on one thing until you get it done. Like, it's just all over the place.
Well, the only reason that I say sorry, Alec, the only reason that I say that it's chaos
You're
is
good.
it's like if you aren't medicated, it feels like you can't do anything right. And when you are medicated, it feels like you sometimes hyperfixate on things that you aren't supposed to be hyperfixated on. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm,
Like, and it's just
mm.
like you said, like there's one thought
Preach
and it
it.
just goes, it's like squirrel, you know? Yeah.
I actually have a list of 20 questions. I know this seems really
Oh
crazy.
no.
It's not. No. We could just peruse. We're just gonna peruse through it because we essentially want to make sure everybody has a definition. Where did Jaren and Michael on the topic?
Oh yeah. Just so you know, Michael's audio isn't working again. He texted.
Well,
He let me know.
oh Lord have mercy on my soul.
I know. This is why technology's like gonna be
Alec
the
and I are
bane.
still fun, I think. I feel.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey. Okay. So what is going on? Where did everybody freaking go? Okay.
I don't know what's happening right now, but
All
we're
right.
here.
On the topic of ADD, we straight up lost like two homies in the mix.
That
So some of the questions, and we could just like peruse this real quick, and then you guys can just say if
y'all
you
lost the
relate.
co-hosts.
No, I'm here. It's still.
You know what?
It's
Yeah, no, it's still here. It's still here. We're good.
So, question: is it hard to plan ahead, organize, and prioritize?
No.
Is it?
It's not hard to plan something ahead and organize and prioritize. It's doing it. That's hard.
That, you know what? I'd have to agree with that. I'd have to agree with that.
Because, like, I can put you in my calendar for 2 weeks ahead, right? And then
Yeah.
I will either forget the day of that it's going to happen until the alarm goes off on my phone, like, hey, you have 2 hours to get ready for this shit. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. You
I
see,
do find big picture ideas more interesting than details.
I see. That's the thing too, is the fact that I despise the details, but I love looking at the big picture.
Negative. I love looking at the details more than the big picture. But then again, I have Asperger's. I'm on the spectrum, so I think everything is in the details.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we mentioned the daydreaming. Okay. Are you more awake in the evening and find it hard to fall asleep?
Yep.
Okay.
I have gotten, no joke, Dahlia, I have gotten like 2.5 hours of sleep for like a week now, like every single day. But like during the day, morning, afternoon, evening, boom, 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 I'm here. But at night, I just can't sleep.
Oh my God, this next question is blurting, saying what's on your mind without thinking an issue for you. Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. Like, it's the worst for me. Like, someone will, and it's also
Yeah.
sometimes like, I
Yeah.
don't sometimes know how to react to someone. Once again, you can blame that on the autism, but sometimes I don't know how someone wants me to
Yeah.
react to them. So I'll just say
Yeah.
whatever it is that like I'm
Oh,
thinking, and it just totally it can fuck up the mood. It can like totally completely just ruin everything. And then I'm like, I'm being honest, like I don't understand what they want from me because I can't really fake insincerity, you know?
right. This one I have a story. So can you focus so deeply you don't notice anything or anyone else? One time I was in this
Ooh.
English class, and it was I was in like 11th or 12th grade or something. And I remember I was so focused. The teacher said my name, and I got pissed. I was pissed.
Oh.
And I just remember I was just like, oh my God, I should not have done that. Like, you know what I mean? I just like, I totally
Well,
like
here's
ruled
the
her
thing,
around.
is that like when you're in the zone, you are like deep in that zone.
Right.
Like that, like if someone takes you out, you're like, what the hell did you just do? I was in the zone. What are you trying? Why are you distracting me? Yeah, I've done that before.
Okay. And then do you never get around to certain important activities? Dude,
Ooh,
I gotta clean this house so
I
bad before my mom
Fucking
shows up.
same. Mhm.
I literally there are so many things that I need to do that I'm just like just I wouldn't say big things. Like the big things I can focus on. It's the small things that I just like put off until the
They're an
end.
important it's like it's not even procrastination. It's just like I will eventually get to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'd rather deal with all the big things
right.
first and
Right.
then I'll deal with detailing later. Like my ex-husband and I used to call it when we would clean house, every Sunday we would clean the whole house. Essentially, I would clean up all of the big things and then he would go behind me detailing it. You know what I mean? Like doing the little things that I forgot to do or I just, I didn't have enough energy for.
Right.
Well, right.
Okay. This one hits home. This one sucks. Do you use Diet Coke, alcohol, coffee, or drugs to calm your brain down? I am a coffee addict.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it is bad. I think today I was feeling under the weather, but by 11, when I didn't have any, I felt my brain like go through a freaking Medusa. It was not cute. It was not
I
cute.
I love my coffee. The only reason I wake up is for that first cup of coffee, and then I can live for something else.
Can you feel the rest?
And that's the thing
Ah,
is like
it is coffee.
Dahlia, you don't understand. I wake up at 4 in the morning and for 2 hours, like I am constantly checking the time because at 6 a.m. I give myself the okay to have my first cup of coffee. And after I finish the first cup, I'm like, okay. And I take a look at my surroundings and I go, okay, so here's where I am, here's my life, here's what I need to do today. Okay, now I can focus. I had my cup of coffee. I tell myself as I go to make my second cup of coffee.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, the first time I ever tried Coke, and I do mean the powder, I was, like, in high school, and I was unmedicated back then, so the first time I ever did it, it was, like that's the first time I actually felt normal, like,
Yeah,
it didn't do anything for me, like, I wasn't like, like, all, my friends and stuff, how they all, like, got paranoid and stuff. No, I was actually like, "Oh, this is what this feels like? Like, this is cool," Like, I could actually think of something, get that sentence out without having to go into a whole different story,
right.
and you know what I mean? Like, and people
Mhm.
don't know that a
For
lot of the
sure.
times when you do uppers, when you have ADD or ADHD, it actually it kinda, like, brings you down to this level where you're like, "Oh, oh," you know? Like,
Right.
smoking
Sure.
weed, like, I can't do that just because, like, that's what makes me paranoid because I
Right.
get so slow that I'm like, "Whoa." Like, I
Oh
am
no,
not
I
Mhm.
smoke all every day. I smoke weed and drink coffee every day. That's my thing.
you're
Like
s no, I love coffee.
when I was a teenager, it was me, weed, coffee, gym. Weed, coffee, gym. Weed, coffee, gym. Weed, coffee, gym. Like I could go in there and and I loved it when the gym was empty and no one was around. And I popped my CD in the gym by myself, and it was Tech Nine, and I'm boxing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So so
motherfucker.
I have a little story. On one of the Rockaholic episodes, I can't remember which one, Ruby, maybe you can tell me. It was the one where I said, um, "Why is there no whiskey in my coffee?"
Oh, dude, like, the very first episode.
Was that the first episode?
Dude, like, the
Like,
very
and
first
this
episode. It
this
was, like,
is
9 AM.
this is it's like 9 a.m. I was up since like 5 or 6 a.m. outlining like other things for other podcasts that I do. Actually, no, I was up outlining the first one for SOS the podcast. But anyway, um, I was so tired. I was so like Ruby could see how tired I was too. And
Oh,
I was like, I need my cup of coffee. And like as like we're like Ruby and I are on Zoom and we're getting prepared. We're getting all of our audio equipment set up. We're getting everything tested. Like, okay, okay. And like I want you to imagine this. All right. I want you to imagine this, Dahlia. I'm holding my
mm.
coffee mug and I and this is where my ADHD comes in. I look into it and I go, just like and not even thinking about the fact that there's someone on the other side of the computer screen. I just say to myself, why is there no whiskey in my coffee? And then Ruby goes, that's what I want you to say, and then we're gonna make a plug for that.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it was just like it was like, yeah, this is pretty much this type of podcast.
It was that type of podcast that day, and and I feel like I've used that line a couple of times since then, and it works so well. And I don't even remember what was the inspiration for me saying that, but that was just my ADHD. Like, why is there no whiskey in my coffee?
So I'm sure you guys totally can relate to this one. Have you underachieved and not met goals and started new tasks before finishing old ones?
Oh God.
We restarted Rockaholics 3 times before we got to the actual first episode.
It's like, so I'll start a hobby and I will buy all brand new fucking supplies for this hobby, and then I'll get midway
Oh.
through the project and then I'm like, anyway, I need something else now.
I
With,
So,
the hot,
I'm
with
like,
the hot glue gun on the fucking
Yeah.
burning
yeah.
table.
Yeah, oh
exactly.
totally.
And so dumb.
I'm like
I
only one cup of the bra is like in rhinestones, like hot glued rhinestones, and then the other half, and I'm like, never mind.
for one of the podcasts that I ran like a couple years back, I told my audience I was going to do a 40-day series, like a 40-part series. And guess how far into that series I got?
12 days. 14 days.
Actually, I think
3
so.
days.
I think
1
14
day.
days, yeah.
Okay.
I think 14 days into a 40-day series that I promised, and I have
You were like,
not finished. And I have not finished it.
nah, never mind. LOL. JK.
This is a hard question. Let's see if you guys want to answer this. Have you a family? That fucking is not worded correctly. Like that's gonna annoy me.
Just reword it.
Okay, so in your family, is there a history of alcohol, drug addiction, anxiety, or depression?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Ruby, I haven't met you before,
Hey.
but I'm bipolar and my brother's schizophrenic, and that's why I made Stay Woke or Not to begin with. That was the very kind of, that's why there's a 3-eyed octopus coming out of a girl's head, because I used to work at Microsoft and I'm a nerd before an
Cool.
actor. Yeah,
I like
so
that.
that's the premise. And then I gotta actually mail you guys some stickers for being on the show.
I
Oh, cool.
know.
Thank you.
You still haven't
Stickers.
mailed me my sticker from being on the
Did you ever give me your address, fool?
No, but why is that my job?
Wow.
How am I supposed? Oh yeah, by all means, let me Amazon ship it
Yeah.
to some remote
No,
area in
I
Wisconsin.
know. Dahlia, we've all been busy. You've been busy with your things. I've been busy with my things. We get it. All right.
No, you gotta call Alec and be like, yo, there's a package for you at Starbucks off Main Street. And he'll be like, which Main Street? I'll figure it out.
Okay, so we went into the hefty line of questions, and maybe we're covering the questions again. But what do people think it looks like?
Laziness. Like you have to be like, I have to be honest. Like a lot
Yeah.
of the times, you know, I don't okay. So it looks like laziness because you in your own head, you're thinking of all the things that you have to do, and yet you have no motivation to do any of them, right? Or like you start on one thing and then you do another thing, or in the end, you know, it just feels like I'm not getting anything done. So then you get frustrated with yourself, and so you're like, you know what? Let me just take a break for 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes turn into 5 hours. You know what I mean? So it looks like laziness.
Right.
It also from somebody looking like, are you talking about like if someone without ADHD is looking at someone kind of having ADHD, having a moment of it? What does it look like?
Is that your
I would,
question?
yeah. Is that kind of like what you're asking, Dahlia?
Oh, I thought you were talking to her. Sorry.
No. I no. Like it. So like the questions about like somebody who doesn't have any of these like ADD or ADHD issues, looking at someone being ADHD and having a moment of that. What does it look like to the
I
person
think people
without
find
it?
it hard to work with you. I think they probably find it hard to work with you.
True.
I mean, I don't know if it was ADD or ADHD, but I just remember doing a short film and I wasn't necessarily in the room when they were filming, and
Right.
everyone depended on me to edit, but I didn't know how to edit out the voice because I wasn't in the room. I was putting on makeup to get ready, and I
Right.
lost a friend over that. So that
Whoa.
sucks. Vanessa was like, dude, you're fucking another LA person. Da da da. Dude, LA is like that.
Oh my
Just-
gosh.
I don't know. If you're not,
Savage.
if I'm not pleasing you or helping you in some fucking career mode, like, dude, I don't know. This place is nuts. Not gonna get into it, but yeah, I don't know if that was ADD, but I wasn't in the room, and it wasn't
Right.
fair to me, and I didn't get to finish it. It was very, very funny. We had a dog selling weed. So the dog was selling weed. Oh, hello, Nikita. Okay, she's just gonna come in. Hello, Nikita. We're just gonna have a little blankety box. So we're talking about ADD, ADHD, and if you feel the need to answer this, what do people think it looks like?
A lot of people think it looks like, oh, you can't pay attention. You're always
Yep.
just like
Yep.
distracted.
Mm-hmm.
You like, I guess another trope would be like, maybe we're having a conversation and then suddenly someone's like, oh, I really like popsicles, or like, look at that dog. And it's like, it can look like that, but not always.
Okay.
Not usually.
And then that kind of segue. It says into the next question. What is it? Oh, thank you.
That was great.
What does it actually look like? Okay. Everybody together, put your brains in the little blender and come up with an answer, please.
Anxiety, talking too much or not enough, eating too much or not enough, sleeping too much or not enough. And that's one that I actually struggle with. Like I can have 2 hours of sleep and I'm good, or or I can go 46 to 72 hours without sleep and I'm good. And yeah, I'll be exhausted, but at the same time it's like like I have so much shit to get done that I'm not probably gonna, but
Right.
at the same time it's like I either talk way too much or not enough, or I look depressed, but I'm just like, nah, just everything's in my head, bro.
Yeah.
It also looks exactly like depression, but it's
Mhm.
something that you give to yourself because you feel like you're not good enough for anyone else because you're not meeting the expectations of paying attention to something for a certain amount of time or being able to finish a task completely. You become depressed because you feel useless to other people because you can't meet their expectations.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like, kind of what I was going to say. But another form of that is that imposter syndrome will come to play a lot, where like even the things you do well, or the things that people say they see in you, you don't even accept.
Mm.
And you just continue to believe you're not enough and you're not good enough because you don't have the ability to feel like a normal person.
Or you feel like you're not successful enough. Like,
Yeah.
at one moment you could be on top of the mountain and then the next you're like, this isn't enough. I'm
No.
not successful
Right.
enough. I'm not good enough. I have to keep going. But then once again, that depression, like it's frustrating. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
extremely frustrating.
I would say I'm bipolar and I had the same symptoms. It's very much the same. Dude, I've been laying in bed for the past 2 days and I'm just like, whatever, dude. The world could disappear right now. And then I also wonder if because I'm an extreme extrovert and I'm so used to having people over that I kind of take an emotional dip when I'm alone.
Mm.
And
Ooh.
it is real. And then I was like,
Yeah.
today, I don't know what it was about today. I was like, I really miss my mom. And it like kept hitting me. And I called her like 3 fucking times. I'm like, dude, can I get a grip? But I'm also kind of sick right now. And I'm like, mommy, please save me. But I don't want her to see the dirty house.
That's actually funny that you say that because like I'll get in these weird moments. Well, I will text everybody in my phone that I actually miss. And I'm like, hey, I'm just checking up on you. I miss you. Love you. Okay, bye. Like you don't even have to text me
I
back.
got
Just,
one
"Okay,
for
bye."
you. I got
Yeah.
one for you. Do you feel that with your friends, you're more needy than them?
Oh. See,
Yes and no.
Yeah, I'd have to
Sometimes.
agree. I'd have to agree with Ruby.
Because like you have to understand, like you as an adult, you know, like you realize like, hey, we can't be together all the time, see each other every day of the, you know, the week. Like you have your own life, I have my own life. But then it's like when you are with them, it's like everything that you've like my best friend and I have been best friends for 15 years. And even if we don't see each other for like 3 months, we pick up right where we left off, you know? And then we just tell each other everything that's happened to us over the last 3 months. And and then it always ends with we need to see each other more. And then we don't, you know?
Oh my
So
god.
Totally.
Sunday, I kind of did something, and I don't really know why I did it. But I'm not really good at being fake, and I am realizing I don't know what's exactly happening, but a lot of people from Clubhouse are becoming staples in my life. Like Music Mondays, we got Mick Familiar. Tech Tuesdays, we got Kevin. He flew in. Wednesdays, we got Michael and Jaron, and certain individuals that are becoming very prominent. And due to my manic episode in October, I pissed some people off. So they're not really around. And then I told my friend Jenna, I was like, dude, you haven't really been talking to me. I know you're living your old life, but I also told her I'm not really going to be an Instagram friend. I'm not just going to be the person that likes and just comments on your shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it. And I'm like 30. I don't know if it's my 30s or what, but I'm just like, nope. Because we were so in each other's lives that to go from so much to nothing, I shouldn't have expectations. But I'm wondering if it is that bipolar thing or that ADD thing where you're maybe extra needy or not. Maybe it's not related. You know what I mean?
There's definitely some kind of attachment associated with both. Whether it's because we're used to not feeling okay and depending on someone else to reassure us that we are, or it's just maybe there's abandonment and attachment that helps trigger ADHD and bipolar.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Can you say that one more time? I'm trying to get what you said.
I was saying that there's a lot of times attachment issues or attachment, like boundary issues, come with ADD and bipolar, both one and the same. Mostly because I don't know, like maybe that both of those just have a symptom of attachment because we are always needing to be reassured that we're okay because we just don't feel okay.
I wonder if that's generational. I think it's generational. I think millennials need constant validation.
Yeah,
I live in Slack. I'm in sales, and I wonder if it's a sales environment too. You're like, yeah, man, you got it.
It could be, but it could also be like, I'm speaking personally. I come from childhood neglect and abuse, and when that happens to a child, it affects the development of the brain and the development of certain neurons, and maybe within that can trigger ADHD and or bipolar.
Well, so bipolar disorder is a learned disorder. It's not genetic. Yeah, it's a learned disorder. It is
genetic. It is genetic.
Well, it is genetic, and also being I guess being abused and neglected doesn't really come from your genes. It's something that affects your brain because of your environment.
So I did research on that. My grandfather was schizophrenic. My brother's schizophrenic. And then when I was in Michigan, I was in my grandma's living room and I was doing some research. And there is a genetic genome in the mind between bipolar and schizophrenia. Like my brother is schizophrenic. I am bipolar. Like this is genetic. And we both lost our shit around 19. Like, how is that a fucking thing? You know what I mean? So there is that. And then I have a theory, and I talked to my mom about this morning. And my theory, and this is not ADD related, but I think people with schizophrenia can see more than the human plane. And I think drugs are a gateway, and entities come into you. And there were points during Blake growing up that I totally know for fucking sure there's at least 3 dudes or entities in his body. Now through the medication, we don't see it anymore. He's very sedated. He's very,
Totally.
very sedated. So me and my mom were talking about how in Africa they celebrate schizophrenia. And I was
Yeah.
telling her, I was like, Mom, I'm turning 33. I want to do something fucking epic. You know, maybe we take Blake and take him to fucking Africa and meet some shamans. I don't fucking know. But I'm turning 33, so better be good.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah,
Well, the-
Already healed a brother.
oh yeah,
Took him-
my
oh my gosh.
fiance. Oh, sorry. My fiance, he has a brother that's schizophrenic. He also has intellectual developmental disorder, which was previously known as mental retardation.
Okay.
And his schizophrenia and his mental decrease started showing up when he was about 12. And before he was losing his ability to be more like his motor skills and all that kind of stuff, he would see angels and he would see things that like he would tell his brothers, and they were just like omens and like predictions and these beautiful concepts that what someone with just intellectual disorders may or may not see or understand the language of. But we think something about the schizophrenia brings angels to his vision.
Hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, he'll.
The
Blake will
last guy I
say,
dated was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
Your
go
brother?
ahead. That's fine. No. I guess.
The last guy that I was. Sorry, the last guy that I was dating was bipolar schizophrenic. So he had both. Like it was meshed.
Wow.
And oh yeah, and when you're talking about he was like his mother was also schizophrenic. She didn't have bipolar disorder, but she was schizophrenic. And he said that like when she was dying, there were times when she was able to like contort her body in a certain way that he was like it was not humanly possible for her to contort her body that way and be able to walk the next. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like he
Wow.
there were and he tells me to. He's like, I have nightmares. I'm traumatized by what I saw. And he's like, and as soon as she died, I realized that I was starting to like have those types of episodes where it was like I was in my body, but I wasn't exactly controlling what I was doing. And I know that this is totally completely off topic, but this is out of his mouth, like these, you know, he always said that he had these feelings where he would get mad about little things, and then it was like a voice in his head was talking to him and saying that, oh well, they did this because of that. And he said that it was never always like good things. Like there were some times where there was a different voice and it would say good things about someone, but then it was like another voice was it was like an angel and a devil on his shoulder. You know what I mean? Like he was
Mm.
trying to be the voice of reason, and yet he had these two different people telling him something else. And so when he got medicated, um he said that a lot of the time he spent asleep. So you're right, your brother is pretty sedated because yeah,
Oh yeah.
for you know, and I mean this
Right
dude
now
could
we're a
sleep
little.
like 14 hours.
Yeah,
That's
that's what's happening. I
crazy.
think
Wow.
it's the medication, dude. It's very, very fucking strong.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But Jaren, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that,
Hi.
folks. Technical difficulties. I think technology, or I think StreamYard just hates me. It's probably what it is because I don't have an account.
You know what?
oh.
Yeah. I don't know. StreamYard
Or then
might
again,
be.
maybe the website has ADHD.
Okay,
Yeah.
the website has ADHD. We're gonna vote for
There you
that
go.
one. All
We're
right.
gonna vote for that
Next
one.
question. Next.
It's a yes from me,
We're
Simon.
gonna now go. What are Simon Cowell?
Well, very stupid.
You know,
What
I
a very
didn't really
stupid
like
question.
your act. Jaren, you're a co-host. Read it.
What obstacles you face? What are the obstacles you face having ADHD or ADD?
My favorite one is the tendency to get really obsessed about something or learning something or wanting to have a
Yeah.
job and then
Yeah.
dropping it within like a month. Exercising, dropping it within a month.
Yeah.
All that.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
To me, it's like the mood swings that come when I'm not medicated, but that's also because like I said before, like I get so crazy at having to force myself to do anything. Like it is so fucking crazy to me that there are people out there that just like they wake up and they just fucking do things, you know? Like they wake up and they have the energy and all of this shit, and it's just like calm the fuck down. Where does that come from? Like
By the
there are
way,
people out there that are fucking normal and they just wake up and they start doing shit. I wake up and I fucking scream into my pillow and I'm like,
Yep.
fuck.
Okay, we got 2 screamers in the pillows. We got 2 screamers. We got 2 screamers. I think I just use the pillow as a long pillow, and then I'll just roll over like a burrito.
Mhm.
Jaren, what do you do with your pillow?
Oh
my
That's
God.
right. If I told you, if I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
Is that private?
We'd
That's
have
a
to end
private conversation.
What do
We'd
you
have
do
to-
with your
No,
fucking pillow, Jaren?
We'd have to
You know,
end the stream here.
Let me say this. I just got
It's not
actually a new pillow recently from an ex-girlfriend, and I had to take it off the bed because it was making me a little insane. Cause I felt like if I slept with it, I'd want to sleep with the person again. So
No.
I don't know what it is. I mean,
What's
like,
that
like
placebo
Ruby was
effect?
saying, it's like
Did
Ruby
you
was saying,
smell it? Was it like Dexter?
Yes.
Stop.
Like Dexter,
like
you smell it,
but to
and then you're
parallel
gonna
what
go to her
Ruby was
house.
saying,
Oh
you
my
get so
God.
obsessive about something,
Oh my
and then
God.
you just can't let it go, or you can't like come off of it, or whatever it is. That is when my ADD moment starts.
Oh no.
And a past traumatic
No.
incident, and boom, something that reminds you that you can't come off
So-
of it. It's physically and virtually effing impossible.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy. So your
Michael, you're
AD
freaking out over.
so your ADD is literally like being reminded of a scent that reminds you of a person, and then you obsess about that person.
Yes, I have a very acute.
That's crazy.
I have a very acute sense of smell. Like, here, another example. When Dahlia comes over, she always leaves part of herself at my house. I mean, not just because we're married, but because of the fact of
What are you talking about?
I can count on 2 things. She'll bring her office, and she'll bring her baggage. But I'm like, you know what? A part of Dahlia
Wait,
is in my house.
Time
no
to
matter what
sage
part-
this shit.
are we talking about emotional baggage, or are we talking about physical baggage here? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little confused.
Both,
I'll-
baby.
I was saying, like, well, that's
Usually-
that's between husband and wife.
Because
Sorry.
sorry, Dahlia, I love you, but I could see both happening. So that's what I'm trying to clarify here.
Alex, just between you and
All
me.
right.
It's
We're
husband and
gonna
wife.
move on
Just
from that.
text me. Just
that
text
was a
me.
great topic. It was super nice. We're just gonna scooch on to the next fucking question. All right.
How do you overcome
Jaren, you
those?
have the first one.
How do you overcome those obstacles?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, Alec, why don't you
Wait,
take
say
the
it
one?
better. What the fuck?
Alec, why don't you answer the
You're
question first? How do you overcome those obstacles?
Dahlia, I'm freaking out right now, and I need one person to talk at a time.
Okay.
So,
You're
overcoming like
triggering
my
your
obstacles
ADHD.
with my mood swings is like I just breathe because I do have 2 kids, so I have to like remind myself that it's not their fault that I'm not medicated at the moment. So it's always like just breathe, calm down,
Yeah.
like it's an inner dialogue to myself where I just have to
Yeah.
like chill the fuck out.
I'd say for me, I have 50 set timers a day.
Wow.
What are you, Tony Robbins?
You what?
Sorry,
What
go
did you
ahead.
say?
I said, what are you, Tony Robbins? 50 cent timers. 50?
Hey, he lives in Chula Vista. He's my neighbor.
Ooh,
Oh.
yo.
Okay, Adventure Time
anyway.
to Tony Robbins.
Anyway, how about we take a field trip?
I'm
I
literally
hear that
already planning one. I'll
So,
scoop y'all up.
One of the things I would have to say is that I set so many timers a day is because one of the reasons I can't sleep, I swear to you, is because I am terrified of sleeping in. Because if I don't start my morning off at the exact right time with the exact right morning routine,
Yep.
I am out of whack. So I set 5 alarms just to wake up, to make sure my ass is up. And I set the alarm in the morning to say, drink coffee, go downstairs and drink coffee at 6. At 6:30, I set an alarm, write a morning poem, which is where I watch the sunrise and I write a poem about it every single morning because that gets my creative juices flowing in the morning. And every
I
single
drink
morning,
water.
And every single morning at
The guy's looking
7,
at the sun.
I set an alarm that says eat breakfast, and then at 7:15 I have an alarm that says feed the cats. And then at 7:45 I have an
You're a
alarm that
cat
says, yeah, I'm a cat daddy. Did you not know
He's a
this?
cat daddy.
That's an
Meow.
ooh, that's a Rockaholics
Oh,
inside
man.
joke.
It is.
Ooh.
I know a lot of cat ladies. You're the first cat daddy that I've met.
He's
No.
totally a
I'm not a cat
daddy.
daddy. I'm not a cat
Meow.
daddy. I didn't know. I want to clarify something. I'm not a cat daddy. I'm a cat daddy. Anyway,
Daddy.
so
Oh my god. So Alec, so I think everyone wants to know, how do you handle all that pussy?
one at a time. Anyway,
He's a one pussy kind of man.
Ooh.
that depends.
All
That's what
right.
he has to.
That depends
Next
which one wants to give me attention. Anyway,
Okay.
Now I have V for now. Alec, thanks to you. Now I have V for Vendetta.
thank you. That's a great movie, by the way. Shout out.
Okay, scooching on. Jaren, go ahead.
How would you define ADD?
Okay, so I have facts. ADD was originally what covered everything when it came to this disorder. But then there was the third medical dictionary of disorders and of mental disorders and mental illnesses. The third version of it came out with ADHD, which specifically talked about hyperactive. So they decided to take ADD and divide it into two things: ADD without hyperactivity and ADD with hyperactivity. And the one with hyperactivity became ADHD. That's how ADHD came into being. Now, ADD has always really been a thing when it comes to psychology. So I'm sorry, I geek out. I have a whole podcast just based on this. I geek out when I learn things.
So I have something to piggyback on that one. Is in the new version, the DSM-5, they now have a hypo and hyper, and then now there's one in between of the
I'm
ADHD.
definitely
Oh.
hypo.
Ooh.
So it's you're either hypo ADHD, which has all the you would call them like positive, like you're very hyper symptoms, and then hypo would be more of the negative, like it's harder for you to get, or it's harder for you to wake up, like you're not as motivated in like a manic way, and then there's a mixture of two. So they put it into 3 categories now.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I'm
That's
definitely
fascinating.
hypo then because
Yeah. Okay.
I'm type 1, and then I get Jaren, what is it when we get really angry?
Oh, what, the medical term or just in general?
The medical term. What are we talking about? The medical term.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, Dahlia, chill.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my God.
I don't want to. I want to say roid rage because I'm still angry about Russia cheating in the Olympics, but shoot. You know what? I have to look it up.
We're
Dude,
hypo.
I can't with that.
Well, when I
joke.
get
That was
manic,
too
I
real.
get extremely angry and shit gets broken.
Okay.
So I'm hypo.
I'm
or
actually
hypo or whatever.
I'm actually curious, how does ADD or ADHD affect your anger management? And does it affect your anger management? Like, have you found that there's a link between the two?
I mean, why wouldn't there be?
Listen, Dahlia, I just asked a question. Why did you have to come at me like that?
I'm sorry.
You could have just said yes, and we would have moved on.
Sorry. All right. Actually, I got a very, very juicy question, dripping from the seams. What is it like dating someone with ADD, ADHD?
Can't.
I'm sure we
I have this. My partner also has ADHD, and my biggest thing is like the sharing of chores when I'm like super busy. I do most of the chores, but when I'm super busy, I'll be like, babe, can you go and do this or do that? Like I hurt my foot and I like needed water and stuff. He'll forget as soon as he's downstairs what he was supposed to do. Almost instantly.
Well, you know what?
I love it. That's
I found my phone one time in the freezer and my keys. I'm not even kidding. Like I was going fucking nuts looking for them. and
don't.
they were like behind the freaking broccoli, and I'm just like, what?
High five. I left a book in the fridge once.
Yeah, good for you.
Was it
Thank
scary?
you. Thank you so much.
Did you pull a
thought we
Joey
were
and put it
like-
in the fridge because it was scary?
I lost it, and then I came back home, and straight up.
Ruby,
I thought maybe the thoughts would marinate with the book in the fridge, maybe.
Ruby, you and I already make enough TV references. We can't add friends to the mix, or else it'll never end.
No, yeah, because Joey does that, like every
I
time when
know
he's like
he
reading some
does.
book, is it The
He
Shining?
wants-
And
yeah,
he
with
like
The
gets
Shining.
scared and he like puts it in the fridge, and then at the end of the episode, he reads a sad book, and Rachel's like, "You want to put it in the fridge?" And Joey's like, "Yeah." And then they put the sad book in the fridge. So that's what that reminded me of.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
so
if you guys
when it-
flew out
okay,
here, we would have to make some of this comedy
I
for real.
don't know if I can answer this quite. Give me a second. Okay, so this is the only reason I can't is because Ruby's here and she introduced a song that reminds me of this relationship every single time I hear it. It's by Boys of Fall. I think she knows
Distance.
them. And every
Yep.
single time I hear it, I think I shared this story with you. It reminds me of this relationship. So I dated a girl for 3 weeks, and it was like, even it was so short term, it was it was the best relationship I've been in, even though it was so short term. And I was definitely more ADD than she was, but she 100% like had it too. And like what we would do is like she would go squirrel, and I'd go, "Do you want to follow it?" And then we would lose track of what we were doing for like an hour, and we'd go on whatever like mystical journey our dwarf was carrying us on, and then we would ride that back for like we would ride that wave for like an hour, and we'd be like, "What were we doing before? Oh crap, we left it in the oven an hour too long. Well, there goes dinner." So that's why I can't date people with ADHD anymore,
Oh,
because
you're such a hypocrite.
100%. But also, there's my reason.
I don't know.
Why?
I think like
I'm
whenever you
so
start dating someone with ADD, you're like, or you're they're dating you, you're like, okay, I'm gonna tell a story. Are you ready to listen to 7 other stories inside of this one story so that it all connects at the end? Because if you are, get fucking ready. Fasten your
Oh,
seatbelts, kiddos. Like this is gonna go somewhere.
I feel
And
like yeah.
I'm not even lying to
Yeah.
you. Like the last time, I even told the story, like that's exactly how it went. I had to tell them, I have ADD. Are you ready for it? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, buckle up. Because it's that's exactly what it is. Like it's like I said, you either talk too much or you don't talk enough.
I feel like if I were and I've met Ruby in real life, and I feel like if she told me, "I'm gonna tell a story. You ready?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And then if she followed it up with the phrase "buckle up," I'd be like, "You know what? Maybe we should save this story for another day."
You have to no, after I say buckle up, you gotta do like that, like you have
Yeah,
to
I'm down.
I feel like I feel
Yeah.
I feel like I do
Oh
this.
no,
and
I'm
then
doing this, Ruby. I'm putting a harness on. Forget the button.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's a fucking roller coaster, bro.
Yeah,
We're
it's a
about
roller
to
coaster.
go
I mean,
ups and downs.
Ruby, I can just tell right now,
And-
the vibe I'm
and-
getting from you right now says that, oh no, if she's on a roll, she don't play. That's kind of
Darling,
No, she
it
does
is going to
not.
be a whole
She
freaking
does
emotional
not.
roller coaster. You're
Here's-
going to get a little angry. We're both going to get sad. Sometimes we're going to laugh, and then we're just going to come back around. Okay, so all right, let's go.
I feel like
I mean, Alec, am I right? Is Ruby the type she don't play?
listen, man, I've been podcasting with her for a while. You nailed it.
Wait, how did you two meet if you didn't meet?
So he actually,
This is so
we
interesting.
met through a mutual friend that we are no longer friends with.
Oh.
But that was over his own like he did us wrong. You know what I mean? And
Wait, do you mind if I tell the story?
go for it.
Okay, so you know what's so funny is the fact that this all started online. Everything,
Bumble.
like the way that I met a mutual friend, the way that I met Ruby, the way that he met Ruby, the way that Ruby and I got connected, the way that Ruby and I started a podcast, the way that
Didn't
Ruby
meet
and I
on
met
Bumble,
in
though.
person, every single time. Wait, no, hang on. So the thing is the thing is I met my co-host through Omegle. You know what amigo is?
What? Are you
It's
serious?
like chatterbait.
Yes. But
Dude, that is the most Russian roulette chatter thingy ever.
know.
I've only
So,
seen it, but it
I
looks
met-
like Russians who made it happen.
you know what? No, I met him. He came on the podcast. I was running solo. A month goes by. We start our own podcast. And then another month goes by and he meets Ruby. Another 2 weeks go by. I meet Ruby through a video call. And then I think 4 months go by, and then we start talking about rock and roll, and we start talking about like how we both have similar tastes in music. And then 3 months go by, and then we start Rockaholics.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually have a fun song I kind of want to play right now.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
that's cute. We should do
That's
that.
literally a me and Alex moment, right?
It's not-
I mean, Alex moment. I'm like,
Oh my
"Hey, have
God,
you heard this one?"
Ruby, that's too meta. That's too meta.
Right?
Oh my God.
It's
Oh
seriously
my-
us.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
here we
my
go.
God.
This is for everybody. Come on. No!
Oh my
Wow,
God.
I just got so
Crazy.
triggered.
Yeah, I just wow. Yo.
Okay, dance time. I got 2 more questions coming up.
Well, on that note,
It's kind of lagging for me. Anybody else?
This is a relatable song. All right, now back to us. We got 2 more questions.
And we're back.
I just needed an ADD moment.
Oh my God. Yes,
needed it.
thank
I
you.
needed
Thank
it.
you. I got it out. I got it out. We're good.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is I got 2 more questions. So how do you go about treatment?
Oh boy.
ooh.
That's a loaded
Concerta and
Yeah,
coffee.
I'm gonna say that for 3 years I was on Adderall for about 14 years.
Oh wow.
Then for 3 years I stopped and I got better habits. I just had to like our friend over there said, he made a schedule for everything. He had timers.
Mm,
It was really just about scheduling everything out and like just having to self-motivate, which is really hard.
yeah.
I also wasn't in school anymore. So now I'm back in school and I'm back on Adderall.
I feel
Yeah,
like
so
I feel like for me, I just had to find my vice. Where I could just like ADHD, like just thought puke onto something. And I could just like put all my ADHD energy in something, which was podcasting. And I could just put all the energy in there. And then like everywhere else, I felt like I was pretty even keel, but I had to be ADHD about one specific thing, or else it would be ADHD about everything. So
Y'all want to hear a fucked up story?
Yes.
always
Duh.
Okay.
Let's
and
go.
forever.
When I had my daughter pretty young, and so I had to get off my ADD medication when I got pregnant, and then of course when I was breastfeeding. And then so like 3-4 years go by, and I am like, you know what? I need to get back on my shit. So I go to the doctor,
Yeah.
and he prescribes me phentermine, which if you don't know, it's a weight loss pill. So
Okay.
he said it's like it's like Adderall. So essentially, he pretty much told me that he wanted me to lose weight, and then he talked to me about getting on Adderall.
Finfin's the worst, by the way.
So then I just ended up getting a different doctor because that same
Yeah.
doctor told me that I had an
Yeah.
ear infection because I was fat. So I was like, okay, let me get a second opinion. And so my sister-in-law actually started working for a doctor she had gotten out of nursing school and started working for this doctor at his clinic. So I went there and he was like, yeah, it sounds like you're having some trouble there. And I'm like, yeah, so, which is kind of funny because then like 4 or 5 years later, I go back and he's like, yeah, I think you're autistic. And I'm like, yeah, same. So then I was diagnosed with my Asperger's. But yeah, that it's so funny how like some doctors actually won't listen to you if you're overweight. But I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I
Wow.
take Adderall. I tried Vyvanse for a while, but I'm on my Adderall, and I
Yeah.
prefer it.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, I was on Concerta for a while, but the reason I went off is because I just stopped eating because of it. Because it just
That's
I
another big thing is I
never
have
got
to eat
appetite.
breakfast in the morning, and it'll be like a big breakfast because I know that once I take my Adderall, I won't eat for like the rest of the day, right? Or if I
Yeah.
do eat, it's something very small. And that's usually like right before bed. So I'll have like a big breakfast in the morning, make sure that I'll, because to make sure that I'm like eating like a well balanced breakfast, and then proceed with my day. But yeah.
I felt like I was on Concerta, which was to help with some learning disabilities I had, which was connected to some ADD tendencies I had, and still have, by the way. It didn't work. So I literally was like, I would have days where I was on Concerta and I would just skip lunch at school, and then I would miss one day of Concerta and I'd have like some of the biggest lunches I've ever had, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't even be full. And it
It's
was
almost
like,
like you have bed, like binge eating disease.
yeah.
Like when
And
you're
that
on it, you don't eat, and when you're off it, you're like a fucking human
I
vacuum.
literally felt like my stomach just became bipolar on this medication, because it was like, oh, you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're hungry, you're not, like, it was like there's no consistency on this drug for me. There's no consistency. So I literally like talked to this psychologist who put me through like basically training on how to just deal with it. And even though I have that training, it's still like, it still gets to me.
Yeah.
It's
it
just
should be.
it's crazy what this drug does. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have to be super mindful of that because when I was younger, I used Adderall to fuel my anorexia. And
Okay.
so now when I take Adderall, I know I have to eat snacks. I have to, or else when I got off Adderall, I gained like 40 pounds instantly because I wasn't eating. And so I have to be
Wow.
mindful of that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's really difficult.
That is hard. That's the other thing about the medication for schizophrenia is you will gain, and they try to give it to me too, and I'm not on it because I'm not trying to gain 40 fucking pounds or 60 pounds. Like, suck a dick. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh my god, if I could think of a sentence that would just describe your attitude towards some things, I think you found it.
Sorry, if I'm extra spicy today, I puke twice in the morning and I have like a fever. So if I'm an extra bitch, my bad. Normally I'm nicer. But today's
it's
extra.
okay. It's all right, Dahlia.
Every time someone says suck a dick, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with doing that though.
Oh, Michael! Wow! At the very end for the last question. Wow. Okay, Nikita, this is Michael, the co-host.
Hello. Wait, where's the
Wow,
camera?
get back, everybody. Let's get him.
Where's the camera?
Wait, here I come. Here I am.
Wait, everybody.
Look at
we need
you,
a
gorgeous.
I'm very shiny right now.
3, 2, 1, and screenshot. Nice. Okay. All right. The very last question for everybody here, now including Michael, because he decided to come back. He had ADD and jumped off, I think. Should you tell your employer you have ADD or ADHD?
Oh, can I go first?
Oh, that's difficult.
You know what, Michael?
You come late and now you want to go first?
Michael.
Jaron, tell him no.
Michael.
Bad.
Michael,
Bad.
absolutely fucking not.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Jaron.
Yes, everyone hate on the hater. Woo!
Well, Michael,
Bring it in. I got room for everyone. Bring all the hate.
Well,
Right.
your name on here is. Well, as a matter of fact, what was your screen name again? Is it Michael Ladybody or something that you had?
Lady boy.
Ladyboy.
Ladyboy. So I want to, before you even answer the question, why do you have that name? Just tell me that.
Lady
You
body.
know, do you know what a ladyboy is?
No.
I don't.
Oh, let
I
me
do.
introduce. Oh, right.
Michael,
I want to
Michael.
hear from you, honey. Please.
Is it similar to like ladyboys in Thailand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So basically, I'm ambiguous down there. You can't know what I have in between my pants. If we really want to get down to the
Oh, okay.
yeah, I went there. You better
Spicy.
pop those eye sockets out because guess
I-
Okay.
what? The sizzle is real.
I don't expect
Okay.
anything less.
But
Okay.
listen, to keep
Okay,
a long
cool.
story short, Ladyboys, that name really came from my admiration of Lady Gaga and the fact that I'm a boy. So
Oh,
I
wow.
thought
That's
Lady
profound.
Boy. And I admire Lady Gaga because she was always kind of categorized as this very weird sort of, image where her portrayals in art were just very like out of this
She
world,
wore
very
a meat
provocative.
dress. She
I feel like
wore a
I
And
look
meat
like
dress.
Kesha.
oh my gosh.
Live it, girl.
So
Get that
anyways,
cash
long story short, people sometimes misconceive the Ladyboy as me being a person who's a cross-dresser from Thailand. Although I can cross-dress for you, it will be extremely expensive. I don't charge the minimum wage that a ladyboy in Thailand would charge you. I would probably charge you triple because US dollars. But I can do a but I bet you're probably gonna get the same service that you probably get in Thailand, and I could probably do a better job now with OnlyFans. But anyways,
Dahlia, you and I talked about going to Thailand for quite some time, so why don't we go hunting for some ladyboys and let's give Michael a real run for his money?
Oh,
me,
man.
I don't need
Oh
to be
no, those are
serviced.
fighting
Hold
words for
on,
Michael.
I don't want to be serviced by a ladyboy. I'm going to be the service. But if Jaren, if you want a ladyboy to service you, that's
Oh
another
no!
conversation.
Whoa, okay.
But
All
anyways,
right,
no,
Dahlia's
whoa,
here.
whoa.
Dahlia's
This
here.
has
Listen,
nothing to do with ADD or
I know there's
ADHD,
nothing.
Michael.
We're
Well,
now
believe
detouring.
He
But I
is
just want to
showing
His
address
his
it.
ADD
AD.
made him talk about this.
I
Hey,
know. This
real
is me with
quick.
ADD. Now listen,
Michael,
we
Michael,
do not
put your
Hey, wait,
ADD
so
shame.
away.
We
hold on,
don't.
hold
We don't
Real
fetish shame.
I'm
We don't kink shame. We don't. We want to make this a safe space for everyone. Now, in terms of ADD, would I tell my employer I have ADD? Maybe, but not in the forefront of the interview because I was talking about this 2 episodes ago. I there's a lot of discrimination with neurodiversity. Let's just plain and simple. There's a lot of discrimination in work and even in school. I can tell you right now, a lot of professors actually don't even know how to handle adequately someone who is neurodiverse in their classroom setting. If they have a student who comes in, they're not trained to know how to handle that situation. It's actually a service called DSPS, which is Students with Learning Disability Center in colleges and universities that actually advocate and inform the professor about all the protocols that are really needed to assess you in terms of testings and assignments and your grades and things like that. So professors I think are very ill equipped to handle that and therefore become incompetent to run a classroom setting for people who are neurodiverse. And I think this is a topic that needs to be addressed because I myself have experienced that. I have experienced a professor who has been incompetent at my college because he did not know how to handle my neurodiversity. And so I took him to court. And I won. I did win. The committee voted I believe it was 6-0. 6 in favor of me, 0 in favor of him. And it just pisses me off because I'm dealing with another professor right now who is showing incompetency signs, and I just think that this is something that needs to be addressed on a national level. For anyone out there who's watching, who's a lawyer, who is part of the government education systems, you guys really need to get your shit together. Excuse my French, but this is just gross. It's sickening, and it's really like, it makes me want to puke, because education systems fail because of this reason. Why do you think a lot of neurodiverse students don't even finish college? Because you guys don't offer the fucking adequate resources nor support that is needed to run a classroom with a neurodiverse student inside of it.
I find it so interesting what you're talking about, Michael, because you're talking about how in the education system, the educators are not educated to teach those with ADHD. I find that ironic and a little sad.
The hospital system loves us, the medical field loves us, and I'll tell you why. Because so I have, like I was telling y'all, I have Asperger's, which is on the autism spectrum, and we are so like I said, the detail part to us is the important part, right? This is what we catch when we're writing notes. This is what we catch when we're with the patient. This is what we catch like when the doctor is talking to the patient, what we hear when the patient is talking to the doctor, even when the doctor leaves the room and they're still talking to the ones that are in the room. You know what I mean? And so patient will, and I'll give you an example. A patient came in, got a CAT scan or an X-ray on her lungs, and it turned out that she had a black spot on her in her lungs. And the doctor said, "Do you smoke?" And she said, "No, I don't." Well, doctor leaves the room, and she said, "Yeah, I started smoking at 14, and then I stopped smoking 4 years ago." And then I'm like, "Okay, you dumb bee." She asked if you smoke. You know, like, you should have told her then and there, "Hey, yes, I smoke." So as soon as, I left the room, I found the same doctor, and I said, "Hey, your patient just told me that she smoked for like 36 years." You know what I mean? So now this patient, what they were thinking was probably cancer. Now they're like, "Okay, yeah, this probably is cancer. That black spot most likely is cancer." Why? Because like, if I would have just kept doing my job and not, like, listen to the patient, I wouldn't have heard that at all. You know what I mean? So like in the medical field, people with Aspies or autism, we are so detail oriented that sometimes it's like, oh, like I can take in a lot of information, thankfully, because of my ADD. Like, I can multitask like crazy. And one of the greatest things about that, because I always tell people, like, you are not your mental disorder. You are not your, like, yes, you have it, but you are not it. You know what I mean? You are not ADD. You are not ADD. You know what I mean? You have ADD, but you are not it incarnate. You know what I mean?
That is not your identity.
Exactly. That's not your identity.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
there's a fine line between that and being like what you just said. I mean, there's actually a commercial out there that talks about people that have diabetes, and there's a fine line between I have diabetes doesn't have me. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's exactly what it is. And like
that.
whenever you do have a mental illness or you have a disorder, and say like, I have ADD and I have Asperger's, right? I also have depression and I have anxiety, but I don't walk around and I tell people and I'm like, "Hi, I am anxiety." You know what I mean? It's like, you have to learn how to like, you have to learn how to look at the good, I guess, side effects or the symptoms of having a certain mental illness or a certain birth defect or whatever it is that you have. You know what I mean? Because all your life, if all you do is just keep hounding yourselves of all of the bad qualities that you have because of this mental illness or this chemical imbalance or whatever, that is how you will feel about yourself for the rest of your life, and you will never feel like you'll amount to anything. That's what keeps you down.
I say that. I say this.
The system. It is the system that makes it for people to feel like shit. Do you have a mental disability? Put it on your job application. Okay, why? You have not even offered me the job yet, and you want to know my shit? That's not my identity. You need to look at my resume. Then once you hire me and offer me the job, where we're talking money and you're gonna be paying me, once a person pays my bills, then we can talk about how you can help me with my neurodiversity and how you can help aid me to better suffice the job that and tasks that you're asking me to complete.
Wait a
I
second.
think
I'm
that the
glad
only
everyone's
time that.
talking.
Go ahead.
So basically, I work for this guy, Steven, occasionally. He's a UX designer, and I introduced him to StreamYard, and he has a show, and he wanted me to, I don't know, I do everything from cleaning around the house to, paperwork or something of that matter.
Right.
And him and I got in a very heated conversation because he deals with depression, and I'm bipolar. And he was all like, well, did you go to the doctor today? Did you do this or did you do that? And a part of me was like, dude, I love you. And it's nice that you're asking, but this is very uncomfortable for me. Like, I'm dealing with this right now. Like, I don't need you to come harp on me about my medication in regards to working for you.
Yeah.
But that's also in
And
any relationship as well, though. Like, I used to get so pissed off when my ex-husband would be like, "Did you take your meds today?" And I'd be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, why do
Right.
like listen, I've been asked that as well. And I don't like when someone asks me, did you take your
Wait,
medication?
what is your neurodivergence, Michael? You've never told us.
Damn, girl. You really
That's
calling
true,
me
honest
Michael.
out.
with you. You didn't tell us. So if you're going to, yeah, go ahead.
Talk your shit, bro.
I have ADHD.
ADHD, got it.
Why was that so hard?
I have ADD.
Everybody, he has ADD.
That's how he's introduced it now.
He
I-
has something.
The hair
He
flip.
has something that none of the rest of us have. He has ADHD with the hair flip.
No,
which is
hold
definitely
on.
interesting.
Not ADHD.
No, just
Not
ADD. We're all just
ADHD.
ADD.
It's
have
ADD.
ADD.
Listen, I had the hyperactive part when I was young. But the ADD now, just basically, this is how the psychologist explained it to me. He said that when you're young, a lot of people start off with the ADHD part, and then later it turns into ADD because the hyperactive part later just turns into you being slower. And so I was like, that makes sense, because when I was young, I was so hyperactive and just like,
Mhm.
and then as I got into
witnessed
my
your
high
ADD
school
over the weekend.
ages, and then going into college, I started noticing that I was always really like slow when learning material and just like processing shit. And so my mother would always be the one that's like reiterating things for me, and she would do it out of habitual behavior. And I would be like, "No, mom, stop explaining things to me. Stop reiterating things that someone just explained to me, like literally right in front of them." And I was just like, I would get it was okay at first, but then after a while I was like, why does she do that? But then later when I went to the psychologist, and he said, yeah, you basically just become slower, and the hyperactive part goes away, and you just become like, you need some stimulation to really like get you there. That's when I was like, oh my gosh. And so when I took my first medication, like on the first day, and I started recording blogs about it, by the way, I'll probably do a little video and we can share it on here. I show when I'm like taking it for the first time, and I'm like, all right, guys, like I'm taking this for the first time. And I'm just like I'm recording myself through that day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I can see, let me tell you, I almost felt like crying in the classroom on the first day when I was on this medication. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see. And I almost felt like this super like high euphoric feeling of like, oh my God, I understand this shit. Like it was just so, oh
It's
my
a
God.
huge thing where you realize that you're not actually stupid. You're just
Yeah.
you just can't focus. Like
Yeah.
I remember taking Adderall for the first time and being like, "Oh, oh," you know? Like I was taking I think trigonometry, and I was like, "This shit, I get it." You know? I get it. It's like putting on glasses for the very first time
Yes.
after you've never wearing glasses ever. And everything's been fuzzy, and you can't even recognize your parents' faces. You know what I mean? And you put on your
Yes.
glasses and you're like, "Oh my God. Those trees actually have leaves. Like they're not just a big green blur, you know?"
And
It's
let me
it's a
tell
beautiful,
you,
beautiful feeling.
and let me also tell you, I actually came out to my mother um, on Vyvanse.
Love
I was
Vyvanse.
like, literally, I was on it, and I was like, wait, the root of my problem is not being fucking truthful to myself. And so I was like, okay, it's coming out. And I just said it, and I was just like, shit. Damn. I'm telling you, I would have never said what I said if I wasn't on Vyvanse. That's all I have to say. If I was not on that medication, it probably wouldn't have happened. It would have just been like, oh my God, no, I shouldn't do it. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, there's
but
that
because I
depression,
was on
anxiety.
it was just like, and I was just like, fuck it. And I was just like, yeah. And so, yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with this medication because some days I feel like my heart is just like pumping so much that I start to feel hot. And then there's other days when I'm just like, damn, this feels so good. Like I'm getting shit done. And then, but again, going back to this whole thing, I just don't think that jobs deserve to know what we have unless they offered us a job and they're paying us a paycheck.
I fully agree with Michael.
Because
I agree with you, Michael. I do.
Because it's like, dude, they're judging your resume, they're judging your work ethic, and they're judging your personality. Right. And at the end of the day, if you tell them you have whatever you have, and then they don't hire you, you have that thing in the back of your mind saying, did they not hire me because of my neurodiversity? Mm-hmm. And you will never know that because, let's be honest, no fucking employer is going to actually admit that they discriminated and actually did judge you in the hiring process.
Yeah, they're not gonna come clean about that.
I have a question. Okay, have any of y'all taken your medication and then forgotten that you took? So I really hate when people are like, you're gonna get addicted to it. And then you're just like, bro, if I can even fucking remember to take it. You know what I mean? Have you guys ever taken your meds and then forgot that you took your meds and then took an extra dosage and then you're fucking, you got the zoomies like a dog?
Yep. I remember one time.
No, yeah, me either.
I haven't. I have.
Ruby, you can't just take a double take on that. It's not.
I'm. God forbid I ever forget. I don't think I could forget because I feel like I feel like I'm just heating up all the time. So I know when I'm on it. So luckily for me, I don't think I could ever forget that I took something because I'm literally feeling it in my body. So, but if I did, then we'll cross that bridge.
Oh my gosh. No, one time I took one and then I took a nap. Like I took it, right? And then as I fell asleep, so I took it, fell asleep immediately, and then woke up and I'm like, that was like a nice little nap. And so I took another one.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I was seeing colors, you guys. Like I could hear colors. I was just like, fuck yeah. It was like, oh my God. Anyway, Alex, sorry, go ahead.
What?
I said, Alec, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Lost it.
Damn it.
Well, we've kind of gone into over an hour.
I know. We're in the fifth quarter right now. This is crazy.
We're in the fifth quarter. I'm Kobe Bryant. Jaren is Tom Hardy. Michael is Ladyboy from Thailand. Alec, you're the football coach, and then Ruby is the
fucking cheerleader. Yeah, I'm just over here like, fuck yeah.
Hello, I do Ladyboy services, $50 an hour.
Okay, Ladyboy,
we're not doing that kind of plug. Okay,
Tom Hardy, give me my Oscar.
Everybody,
and sign us off.
Anyway,
everybody,
Dahlia.
welcome to. Could you please just pause for like 2 seconds? Okay. Thank you very much. All right.
Dude, that sounded like BBC News. Can you do that? Next time on BBC News.
Okay.
Next time on Woke Wellness Wednesday, we will be talking.
Your ADD is showing. Anyway, Dahlia, go ahead.
I can't fucking finish a line around.
We're not going to shame.
You should have known this though. Like you should have been prepared for this.
I knew it.
You know who you invited.
And I love how I posted it, and Ruby was like a thing. I didn't know you were a thing at all until like 2 hours ago.
And guys,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for joining, Ruby. I really
Yeah.
appreciate not being the only girl
And
in
the
here.
first
Thanks.
person to guess, well, did we all say the neurodiversities within us, or did we not?
You're the only one that was all like
Yeah.
lagging on it, but
You're the-
everybody knows.
You're the only one who was like a mystery.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Not
better
no
to be
more.
in this.
Not no
Nah.
more, man. We know you take the pill. We know that
Yeah.
everybody here take the pill.
We
What you
Sherlock
want to
Holmes.
do what you want to do is go to Stay Woke or Not and get your stickers. Can you get your stickers for their show? We have really fun things right here. Yeah, do us all a favor, order it. I will try to respond. I will try to respond. So yeah, everybody try to grab your stickers. And grab your meds too.
I can't take my meds right now. I'll be up until fucking Friday.
No.
Oh yeah.
I can't take mine right now. I got to get on the road and drive back to San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! From Baker's Hell.
Ew, I hate Bakersfield.
Okay.
Why
can
don't you just
we-
crash at my house?
Ooh.
I'm from Dallas, so
Oh,
If
are
I
they
do
lovers?
that, if I do that, I'll be up until like fucking Friday.
Ooh,
That's what I
Ruby.
said.
Nuh-uh.
Ruby.
Nuh-uh.
What?
Ruby.
All right, we're gonna handle this.
What, you want to
off-screen.
record? What's up?
Yeah.
Are they
We're
lovers?
gonna handle
Find out next
off-screen.
time on
Yeah!
Stay Woke or Not.
Find out on the next episode of Woke Wellness Wednesday.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Super fun vibes. Until next time, stay woke.
Until next time.